Yes, we are live. Goodness me. Always good to be alive, and it's a good feeling to go live. Famulem, I bring warm greetings to Una from the TNN TV Media Empire. Today, na the 13th of June, 2023. By the way, this is a very special month for me in many respects because now the month this was born, I'm a Jume I born. So 2 days ago on 11, 2 days, I make the two and look at my reflection, which also imply 11. So 2 days ago, Fambul, on a more serious note, was my birthday. And obviously, man, no do the usual pomp and ceremony, then waking there around the birthday. A friend of mine decided to do something else, we actually go viral. But the normal social media advertisement, birthday greetings, what have you, I didn't do any of that. But at the same time, the love, shown towards me for people that we know, me family, me friends, me followers, them, and the few way people can see in terms of the video where my friend do wishing me a happy birthday, that also went really viral. And the messages that I got from there, I've been want to use the platform for express me thanks and appreciation to all the fambulem who wish me very, very much a happy birthday. So once again, if you kind of this wall, they kind of love what I feel just 2 days ago, and some of that love I still they feel today. If you kind of this wall, you feel that kind of love, anything will happen in between. It really doesn't matter. Love is great. Love is from inside, from the heart. Okay, so I want to say thank you to Una very, very much. But let's move on. The reason why we program this program today, as soon as we don't see the title, is President Julius Maada, this is the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, challenge Adebayor to a duel. Now, Adebayor is now somebody where we need to introduce. Obviously, he's been on this platform like many years ago. When I say many, I mean few years ago. Many is a stretch of the English language. But he's been on this platform, a few years ago. And he's got a heavy social media presence. This is a fact. He's got a heavy social media presence. If I were to bring him on my program now, my number then go, me viewing, live viewer them, the numbers go explode. But the point I'm trying to make is like, he's a known figure on social media. But the issue here today, Fambulem, is the party power, don't they describe Adebayor as a miscreant? And every other ugly definition where you go things and go attribute to somebody, that's what they've been attributing to this man. But the interesting thing is, even though then they define this guy as such, but yet then they pay heavy attention to him. And the heavy attention so much so that when he begin first, now the minions of the government now in them in the send against Adebayor. In other words, small time, your foot soldier, them we call them foot soldier. We will see some people that we don't come to prominence now in some respect na social media, how they make a comedy out of themselves. Go to Holland, if you remember the story. I mean, a lot has happened. So I will forgive Sierra Leoneans if they don't remember. But we get a trove, a treasure trove. Now the then and now where we can cut on them anytime if we want to make reference to the terminology. So what actually happened is people then begin going to Holland, they say, well, Adebayor and I they work. Remember that famous video before how you call the place McDonald's now Holland. And then the government in itself tried by every means for lay hand on this guy, even though the person, you don't need to have a full brain for let say it wasn't really workable because what he been do not be in violation of the country USA is down the rules and the principle. B, that waiting you to go after him for is not important to the Dutch government, and so therefore the Dutch government not go honor anything where you they say. C, the man not commit any crime, maybe just the exercise in your right as you see him in a different way most of us not appreciate, but that was a form of protest, and that way they, as much as Mr. be dislike that, and the man has been on my platform before, and I tell him you need to move away from this message because why? You don't make a platform done already. You've got a followership. Yeah, but of course, you been there for going your way. and then so forth and so on. But the idea here is this is the method, the vehicle that this young man has chosen here for express himself. It's very, very important that while they send the minions them after Ram and government, they use all kind of way, then discuss the man that the national security of the country. Now, so they begin raise the man in profile to prominence. He was discussed on that level. They approach several international bodies for see the possibility of whether this man can be extradited to Freetown. I did a specific show on that. That's some 2 years ago, in which I think I began 1 or 2 lawyers on the program. One before, there was another one against. But even doing me only background, I decide say, from waiting me don't study, me don't see, it wasn't possible. Then they talk about Interpol, using Interpol. This is government. So now the bad advice on they within a government, where you go get for laugh at this kind of folly that government is supposed to get senior advice on them. We're supposed to know what is possible and what is not, what can be attempted and what cannot. We still tell government say they can pursue this man through Interpol. And this not doing Interpol therefore. Clearly, if any sensible, if you get half a brain, you Google Interpol. If you Google it now, but I know even they talk about now and they talk about then, if you don't know what Interpol there for. No, say Interpol has nothing to do with Adebayor. Okay? But such was the desperation of government. But that desperation there, it don't even go way above the level. So much so that this program what they do today, where we say the fountain of honor. I know some people may not agree, but this is not the sense where they try for talk today. The fountain of honor, when are the president of the country, as defined by the Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone, it says clearly that the president is the fountain of honor. If we go for define that day or look into this, what in the fountain of honor mean, it means the decency of the country as a whole. It belongs to the first gentleman, that the first gentleman will lead by example. We emulate what you want take here from the first gentleman. Now things then way good. But what did happen recently? The first gentleman and in Kabudu them, we describe the young man as such and such and such, all the derogatory names. He is now publicly responding to Adebayor. Fabulem, this is really interesting. The president of the Republic of Salone, His Excellency Julius Maada, the founder, the fountain of honor. Now forgive me, tongue-tied. Now they respond to something where they be found very indecent. And here is the point. While the president has got an army of supporters, them we can go after, and like we say in the past, then we get people when they send where they go after Adebayor. But here is the thing: the president himself on the campaign trail is now mentioning the man by name, and not only that, he also they challenge him to a duel. A duel means like a match. And this match, not a good one, because we know say President Bio, a very powerful man. He is the president of the country. And if we can go by many other things, then we know what he is capable of doing, or in lieutenants them are capable of doing. So wait him up at a stage when he used then on fancy word, then they accuse the young man of. And this is not the president, I say these words on the campaign trail. If this man believes say he get business between his leg as a man, like he can, una tell me what in they mean. Of course, Adebayor cannot go there, because if he did, we can second guess exactly what will happen to him. And that's what the president is saying. If he believes himself, like he can, which other way you go treat him? You're not going to give him a day in court. No. You get a different intention, because of course you will silence him. How? I'm not going to say, and I will even attempt it, and I will left that to the general public. But Fabulem, Mr. Seth personally, I find this, deeply offensive, because waiting actually happen is there is a group of people where actually feel say the government is theirs. It's not ours with a capital O. It's not ours, but theirs. So in other words, now a section of Sierra Leoneans, they kind of feel an entitlement to the government. And those of us who are critical of government does not belong to the government, does not support the government, or we not get anything for do with the government. And this is distasteful, this is disgraceful, and this is really unacceptable. I repeat, distasteful and disgraceful, and this is not accepted by any measure at all. But this is exactly what the case is. To be critical of government is identifying what government is not doing right. And as a citizen, this now we obligation and civic duty. I've been saying this for the last 4, 5, 6 years and counting. It is our civic duty for identifying things today. And the things that we are saying, they are so true today. And we can repeat this over and over, the level of poverty. The level of poverty. The reason why government has to take all this kind of action the way that they take, we don't really tell well for the country and its people, and not get good eye for the international world where they watch we. Now, because the assignment where they're supposed to do, they haven't done it. So you need for own up. You can't just be accusing a government who been in power 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And when people then come and make a case of today, 5 years on, 60 months, almost to an election, when Sierra Leoneans will have to decide, you still want to blame somebody who been in power 5 years ago. But if you get really shame, now for shame. I repeat, if you get really shame, now for really shame. Do you? And those where they support, where feel saying that they own the government, will need for take a step back and let reality kind of sink in, for goodness sake. What is the exchange rate? What is the leons to the pound sterling? What is the leons to the dollar? How much was it? I don't even want to do that comparative analysis today. But what is it today? This is what we look at. What is inflation rate today? What is food inflation rate today? Almost untenable, not the answer, and not even need to go into detail. So when we identify them things, and these are the products that the Sierra Leonean people are speaking of. Whether you belong to the green, whether you belong to the red, the issue of poverty does not discriminate. Yes, the one they're waiting in power, they can afford. Yes, they can. But you were not in a power or not a part of. Maybe you enjoy the crumbs when they fall down off the table, because then you can see some man and then they go and they defend the crumbs when they fall down off the table, because that crumbs there, it means so much for them. But again, this is because there is poverty in the country. That even the national pie, where you can be a part and parcel of, by providing a job for you, that you're able to go work, and when you work, that means you pay tax. And when you pay tax, that tax go around, government able for use and for develop communities, society, and the country as a whole. Whether on a road, whether on an airport, whether on a new building, whether on a hospital, and education, so forth and so on. But this is not the case. So Sierra Leoneans, I ask you the question, what are you really defending? Those that are defending the government as at this time. And I'm not saying that you should not defend, but if you defend, Bodiabo, substantiable. Don't play on the intelligence of the intelligent Sierra Leonean people then. Please don't do that. Because the facts are there, bare to see. To some point that the government itself can accept responsibility. And I always say one major tip when they online, where every Sierra Leonean I believe say we don't see by now or may see in the future, is the President of the Republic, His Excellency Julius Maada, he says something before he became the president. He campaigned on the basis of the people, and I'm quoting now, the people are tired of paying for a bag of rice 200,000 leons. Imagine that, 200,000 leons. Of course, it had some intrinsic value then that Sierra Leoneans in the many could not afford, even though many could afford. But this don't balloon 10 times, if not 15 times as such, now as we speak. The question is, how much are you buying a bag of rice? And the fact here is, if the president, before candidate Bill, made a case of that kind, where Sierra Leoneans then buy into it and listen, because why? It was on message. It was true that they were buying bag of rice for that price day, and it was becoming unaffordable and untenable. As a consequence of that, Sierra Leoneans listen and then buy into that.
Regardless of waiting people and say, but the elections, your foreigners, they come and they hand the elections over to President Bio. But the facts were there, and the president laid that case there. The people are tired of buying a bag of rice for 200,000, and that speech they went on and on. But everything that he said there was true. The question here, Fambulem, if it was true then, what about now? I mean, you can't not be that thick. If not on a tribal basis, I've been avoiding this for quite a long time because I try for factor this into my mentality for understand waiting a Sierra Leonean problem. Because this problem is ours, it's not the leadership. The problem is ours. Now we today, they sing praise a government that has largely taken us into the situation where we find ourselves today. And you find people turning up on that basis. Of course, you get your right for support. We're not saying so. But when you go take your right for support, you are not can play on the other one that we not agree, or you think say you can come and insult them simply because they disagree on a point basis, on substance, which is the reality. What is the economy like today? The economy, what is it like today? You can make all the bluff about health. I mean, the statistics are there. The data is there. And then they talk about the one where they don't sex up, where they don't manipulate. No, I'm talking about the real data is there for Sierra Leoneans than for C, because government does have an archive. It does have an archive where you can resort to if you really want to find out exactly what they go on. Fambulem, we are on the way to election. A lot of people will say that it's really unfortunate because what the SLPP really don't do, it make the All People's Congress, the APC, for appear like saints. I repeat, what the SLPP has done over the last 5 years or almost 5 years, 60 months, it make the APC for appear as saints. Why do I say this? Here is the case. I just go back again to what I said earlier on and add some more on the tape of the president now, the case where he make then. That there was so much poverty, people did they fall below the poverty belt. I can make excuses and tangible ones. There was the advent of Ebola. This is something I know for sure because I research a lot. I do research a lot. And not only they follow one source, if somebody tell me, see, there is a notion, there is a saying within this profession, you can trust, but verify. Trust, but verify. That's what you need to do. So my paddy can tell me, say, so. I go ask her, but also you get this news. And probably he go give me a reference. I go follow that reference. And I don't only stop there. I follow that reference for see the original basis of that reference there, or the origin of the basis of that reference. Why? Because if you follow the origin and know exactly who you come out, you can able to determine the perception, the idea, the motive, and the eventual outcome of waiting than they supposed for mean. You can able to determine that if you follow that. Let's say, for example, it come up from an APC source, but they try for shape perception of others, for support them, and probably something we're not really right. What thing that happen in this instance is, if you follow that and you go find out, then they don't help you, because waiting the initial thing they try for doing now for shape your opinion on something probably where you been disagree or even get two minds about. But most of us, we don't really bother with false source, now with the trust. We need to bother, for go beyond that. And that is wrong. Fambulem, elections is near. Sierra Leoneans, elections is near. Once again, I say the Sierra Leonean people, I try for avoid this for a long time because I try not to play the blame game in terms of with people them. But even though I've been noticed, but I think say there was a responsibility on the part of some of us where think say we shall be one or two. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Sorry, Fambule, me program just sort of go off, but I'm still live, and I apologize for that. There is a notion on the part of some people or some of us where think say we know a point or two, and as soon as I can see part of the claim of this platform is knowledge is power. It's about knowledge. It's like if we part with the knowledge to Sierra Leonean people, and try for explain waiting we know, how we know waiting we know, cite references where Sierra Leonean people can go into and go look for themselves, so that when they come for make a decision, that decision they will be an informed decision. This na in we aspire for do na this particular platform. And so far, we've been doing this. Yeah. Now, I repeat again, election they come. Now we know how we work with SUS. I mean, it's surprising, some of the picture and where we see. And that tells you something about we, the Sierra Leonean people, how traumatized, we cannot are. And I will apologize again for my voice and what have you. I suffer heavily from hay fever. And I was up and about today under this massive sunshine na UK USA base. So my nose, my throat, if anybody understand about hay fever, is all affected. But going back again to what they say way more serious, it doesn't really matter because my voice is being heard. Is we want to use the opportunity for less Sierra Leoneans they know the choices them way available. Not just listen to your false source and then you let the case rest right there. No, don't. That is not a good start. Going back again, look at the President Julius Maada. It described, or in people and describe Adebayor in all kinds of sense. And when they talk about sense, in all kinds of nasty ways. Even at the stage where the man attack the young man in family, in mama and daddy. But Fambulembo, come on, man. Did the president have to descend? Because this is what I call low. That's gutter. So the president decided for go gutter. This is a new beginning. And I tell Una Fambulem, this is a new beginning. And we need for watch this. If the president can decide for go search. And I know say he gets a battery of advice at them. To me, that advice was a very poor advice. I know say them being given prominence to the man. Then one moment they describe him as such. The next moment they know irrelevance. And this guy has become a very powerful voice on social media. So much so that as much as he did far away from home, he get influence home. The man they pull crowd na treat. And let me break this down. For example, I've got a number of followers them. I think I get 7,000 or 8,000 followers them. Anybody will get any kind of number of followers. Of course, this is not a low number compared to the man what they talk about because he got many more thousands. But the idea is, if you get this number of people following you, in other words, they listen to you, just like as we speak now, we get over 800 people they watch we live, which is an appreciable number. And I say thank you to all of you guys. And you allow me to continue for sure. Maybe we can break the barrier tonight. Then imagine the man will get thousands more, which means that you can use your voice for organize, which means that you can use your voice for mobilize. And he does that. You can see in Afritonde that many people and they listen to him. And that brings me to the issue of protest or strike, whichever way una want call them, but it's protest. Protest not necessarily mean that people have to come out in the street. And this is the psychology and it is working. Protests, I repeat, not necessarily mean that people need to come out on the streets. No. Protests come in different forms. If you sit down home and that you intend for do, that in itself is a protest, which means that you shy away from your normal activity. I see Fambulem where they support the ruling party. They are actually celebrating as something which is a loss for government, for goodness sake. What have we descended into? What have we Sierra Leoneans descended into? Basically, the country was in a lockdown. You can call it a semi-lockdown, but it was in a lockdown because on a Monday, where government supposed to do business, where country they run, where country is supposed to run, the country was shut down. It was shut down, Fambulem. So people are not necessarily need for come. The idea that they sat down, the idea that not many shops were open, few shops were open. Not the usual buzz activity then a Freetown was happening or happened. And this is just the beginning of things to come. If I can just warn you, this is the beginning of things to come. Because when you oppress a people for that long and push them to the wall, there comes a time when it's obvious that they cannot go through the wall. And it's a matter of time. And it's not far away. But now the idea that the government lost billions of leons. Billions of leons. And I say this, I'm not saying with pleasure. I don't feel good about this. But we have to say it as it is. The government lost billions of leons. And while people they celebrate, and I hear some people, why they not come out now? Why they not do this? Did you contend about the other thing will happen? That the capital was shut down, Freetown was shut down with normal buzz activity. Them was nowhere to be seen. You happy? You show videos of the street being quiet, and you think say it play to your strength. You are a disgrace. You are a shame. All of them people will try for perpetuate that notion. I mean, what were you celebrating? That people did not turn up, but the capital was dead. That government lost billions of leons. Do you get it? Does it not make sense to you? Why we need to avoid all of this? So this is about power. These are the power dynamics. Now we talk about so. One man decide for retain power at all cost. At all cost. And this is what I want to talk about now on the other part of this conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Politics, is about message. It's about carrying out, prior to you coming to power, what promises you've made and fulfilling those promises. It does not have to be all of the promises. Government in prime duty now for take care of the welfare of the people. I'm not sure who is going to deny this. And I even go further because I'm sure say we have an agreement on this. So if government in prime duty now for take care of the welfare of the people, waiting at the situation with the people today as we speak, waiting at the situation, wanna help me back. But I sure say the situation is not kind enough because why? The economy is not thriving. The economy is really not thriving. And if you not thrive, it gets an effect, a spiral down effect. So if you talk about health, you not me say health the function, that are just propaganda. I reduce mortality rate. How you reduce mortality rate? How? When everything they plummet, the economy they plummet, because that's what the economy is. It's not really stupid. It's key, it's essential, it's necessary to every developmental aspect, whether you talk about the development of the human index, development index, that goes in tandem with the economy because these things need to be funded. But you are creating jobs out of the thin air. You are ballooning the wage bill because you are employing people who certainly are kind of loyal to you. And this is the thing at the expense of the general Sierra Leonean populace, at the expense of the citizens who are bearing the brunt of waiting to happen. Fambulem, we get about 900 people watching. Can we please share this video so that we can get even more? But this is what we President Julius Maada, His Excellency Julius Maada, the fountain of honor, as described by the Constitution of the Republic, has done to a country. Brian Camp, in my opinion, low. And at the case now I try for make. Because of course, if you don't call, because there will be people who go support the president on that, well and good. But if you not begin to call this man with the president, they address a miscreant, a misfit in society, a man where they use vulgarity and what have you, and then you play, the man allow you for play into in-game, and that's what you've done. You play the man into in-game so much so you then a stage, and people and they say, well, election only come, so the man writing here for take on him. How is this helpful? You and him are not equals. Here's the other thing, Fambulem. I know you read this a lot. And some of them accusation they can even come to myself. So I understand that, even though I don't agree. Adebayor has said many a times that he's not all people's Congress. He's not. He don't make it clear, he doesn't carry a card, and etc. This could potentially or possibly be true. I mean, the circumstances speaks otherwise. But the logic behind all of this, because I am also a victim of the same situation, if you speak against the SLPP for the very reasons that I'm speaking against now, which is real, I've challenged them many a times. Some, oh, you are very critical of government and what have you. But of course, I'm doing my civic obligation, my civic duty. What is it that you've got a problem with? Have you got a problem? Yes. What is it have you got a problem with? Which I seen a lie? Oh no, not the way this. That. So I'm not lying. I'm talking about something way close to my heart. Election they come. Now, boku money now we just send down so yeah for fambulem. Well, of course, this is a shame for them when they were saying like be a man. Not get fambulem, Afrito, or get fambulem all over the country. But on a more serious note, apologies for the digression. But on a more serious note, fambulem they all over the country. We don't send them money, and then when you criticize the president for waiting to happen or the government for waiting to happen, they can only say that because you belong to the All People's Congress. Well, probably, yes, you are, but that is not the issue. And those that are making those accusations, instead of them talk about the issues, they are sidelining those issues which are critical to the Sierra Leonean people, and make a direct accusation at you that what you do now because you belong to the other side. This is funny. Really funny, and I find it really amusing. If you agree, say what the talk is true. For example, I talk about the economy. I'm not an economist, but even basic economics where you learn in high school, it just tell you, say the economy, they're in shambles. Waiting at the value of the leons, the exchange rate of the leons, the national currency. If it's not strong enough or withstand all the shock the way they happen, that means the people are going to be in poverty. That means there are going to be goods and services that the people cannot afford to buy. They can't afford to buy it because for let you go buy bread now, if you need the money for bread, imagine the money for bread, the money for rest. Because why? Food inflation. There is no control because the national currency is not strong enough for withstand all and shock the way they come against them. We get a bank governor where for many years when they talk about what he did and the methodology the way they apply, say this is not going to work. The rudimentary side of this economic, again, I'm not an economist, but you can see the approach. Because one, there was no sincerity on the part of the bank governor. He don't auction, I don't say this over and over. He auction, he buy, he sell. He even come publicly and say, them bribe people in. Over 60 some more million precious dollars was used for buyback. Buyback what? Who did you bribe? Because you know, if you bribe somebody, you know who you bribe. Of course, you tell me why they do the bribing. Same Sierra Leonean and come out where they support the government and then decide for defend them at the expense of the Sierra Leonean people. Those of us that came out and tried to be critical, for example, okay, let's say your intention and purpose was all good and fine, but it not work out and you use the keyword bribe. And probably the bank governor did not mean it as a bribe in the way how we would tend for thinking, but opposition capitalize on that. But of course, you give them ammunition, you feel the conversation. So when you don't give them people any money, you forget whatever end objective and it not work. Why didn't you go back to them and let them pay the money? You said you paid people for do such and such. So why you not go back to them and go get the money out of them? What became of 60 some more million? It go buffing and other than the now the young people and are in give that money there. So they can't go back to them and say, okay, give me the money. That was just another route, here for it. Millions of Sierra Leonean people and money. Can you imagine? And all in fiscal policy, they all came to naught. All monetary policies all came to naught. And are they combine both the Ministry of Finance under JJ Blood and how you call them, and the bank governor Calon. Fiscal and monetary policy. The same man and turn around now, JJ Blood, as Minister of the chief of all the minister them, they say, but we'll give you another 3 months. I mean, Now, what's kind of disrespect we past this? You tell me once upon a time, say in 6 months, you criticize the past government and for good reasons. And then you say in 6 months, will they fix this? But that was loud talking because you know, we don't sit on a government and you be so I want who for sit on a government. So you make all them pronouncement and they wake up for hunt you. And when people like we highlight them pronouncement and they which you made then, and then they say because you're not APC. Well, if this criticism what they do way very necessary for the Sierra Leonean people makes me APC, but they are add more red on the red way. Or paint me more red. Because I still believe, say, we get Sierra Leoneans of substance, Sierra Leoneans of belief, we know, say, that indeed waiting to happen is just not right. And even on the ruling party side, you get Sierra Leoneans, them will take a back seat where they know, say, this could be disrespectful to the citizens of the country if they come out and just begin for defend waiting to happen. Because waiting to happen is just not right, Fambulem. It's just not right. It don't make sense. And it's drowning more and more of we Fambulem into poverty, abject poverty. We know this. Not a fall inside we come out. These are things we know. And it's becoming so cheap that when the international community that has an obligation to our country, they give them 50 million or 20 million, then they go use that back for campaign and say, I mean, would I be say this? I mean, would I be say that? What load of rubbish is this for goodness sake? What kind of load of rubbish this for goodness sake, bruh? This they make me so hard for understand. Again, I apologize. Me hay fever actually they give me problem. So maybe I might not go too far with this. But let me come back again to the president. So we say the president has sunk to a new low. Because why? A man where he dismiss, where all his followers then dismiss. Say na miscreant, na misfit na society, na vulgarity no more na isabi. Now, in the president go na a national platform, a stage, and challenge the man to a duel, to a battle. The president actually did that. And when I know that for sure, those of you that support the president. So privately, probably some people will not agree, even in one way they support the president. But I know say some people will not come out and say, well, the president was right. But what now what make the fountain of honor then? Or fountain of honor are just some phraseology where they put in the constitution where it really don't mean anything. So the president can do what he do. It doesn't amount to anything. That is stupidity than the way we don't come to. And we, the Sierra Leonean people, just need to understand the power that we have. We are supposed to be the people that we make, and not only make, but can break as well. The moment where government of any kind, any color, begin to understand this, and we begin to understand with power, say we can make, and not only make or break, we go begin to see the difference. Now, let me move on to the election a bit. So the election, they come, and we need to understand the configuration. And don't get me wrong, we get we get many programs that are coming up very, very soon. From a diverse background of people from different vocation, different professional kind of background, different party orientation, they will be on the platform in this coming week and the weeks to come. So that would be the NGC, that will be, and I need to talk about NGC people, and I have to take a swipe at them because some of them, you know, I mean, if you mind weak, then this game is not for you at all. Because like a whistle, then of course we upside down, inside out, for reasons then they just decide for being rude to ourselves. Because what we do, so that's what we've been doing for like many, many years now. But when we invite some people and put the flyer out, I notice some people get influence over some other people. And, oh, no, go there, not do this, not do that. And then you get you're so buff enough that you listen to that, and then you're not appear. Not nobody they can put word in your mouth. Whilst we appreciate everybody, we go can on the platform, but this platform is already established. For goodness sake, some people are not able to factor this yet. On YouTube alone, we are approaching, if we don't go over, because this was last month, 500,000 views. If we go beyond that, long time. And I still appeal to Fambulem on can see the ticker scroll screen beneath. Please subscribe to the platform. Please, I'm asking you. Subscription is free. You know, normally when I say subscription, some people like can feel say, well, you have for payment. No, you don't need for payment. Nothing. All you need for do, if you watch me on YouTube now, or whether you need to watch on YouTube or on Facebook or somewhere else, please go to YouTube and just click on that subscribe button. That's all you need to do. And if you want for we further, click on the bell. When you click on the bell, anytime we get a live program will come on, you will be notified. You will be notified. Fabulous back again to the election what they talk about, which is looming, is coming. Hence, we see the pressure hooker, the rise. We see a video. Of course, I had an interview with Charles Magai and Dr. Richard Conte, and I think we discussed that, kind of briefly, because this is worrying. These are worrying times, the amount of violence. But we are not surprised with the level of violence. We know that this violence is only going to ramp up. The issue here is one side is being pushed against the wall. This is a fact. You show me one video who say APC people and go beat people them up. Or different political party, other than the ruling party, we get access to everything. They get access to the police, the military, the finance, the pulse of the country. So they get, width, they get depth. Show me video who say any other political party, NDA, COP, COP political party, APC, and others, then go beat somebody, wound them. The thing here is always been against one political party. Every time the opposition go campaign, even though officially at the time now the people away they now the government, not only the government stronghold, but also now the APC stronghold. And this is kind of worrying. They always get the audacity, the gall, and the backing for always go and beat these people them up. We are seeing this. This is no propaganda. And I challenge you, please pull with video. There might be videos where exist where probably the APC, they react. The ADP, they react. But it's always been the ruling party that supported them. And the other worrying trend is supporters of the Minister of Information. It be so clear that it almost sounds like say, now Rado, of course, not to Rado instruct them, but been brazen enough that they act what they do, they feel say they do in behalf of Rado. And again, whilst not to Rado, the Minister of Information, give them that permission, they for go ahead. But you therefore ask yourself, why were they so brazen enough for really do that? So much so that they record themselves and outline all their strategy and strategic position that they occupy and why they are doing what they were doing. Why? The answer is simple. Because they've got the backing of the government from high sources. And again, if there are no actions taken when the Constitution is violated, when the rights, the human rights, the civil rights of people are violated, of any kind, shape, color, religion, or sex is violated, no action taken, you only embolden the aggressor for do much more next time. And this is what we are seeing. Time and time and again, action has not been taken against these people when they do these acts of aggressions and threats against these people. Sometimes blood drawn, people are in boss and what have you. But waiting, other people are interested in now fake story them. And I say fake story because I believe in the law. There has to be an investigation before we can come to a conclusion. But of course, you watch some social media tape, you see say deliberately they put out videos out there in which they say a man was caught with a pistol and several rounds of arms and ammunition. You don't see the pistol, you don't see the arms and ammunition, no evidence on that basis there. It could be possible, But the person who they do is just a propagandist, and these people are not the police. They are not the police. The police is the one that will investigate and put out a statement, and that statement they now will go by, because this is the police, a professional police. They investigate and then they put out a statement based on the findings. Nothing as such was being done. This video will make the round way. I see all SLPP people and told. Fambulen, we are 1,000 people watching right now. And they ask Una, please let we multiply this number. It's critical. Elections is looming, it's upon us. Una, don't forget, Sekou John will be on the platform. No, I'm on the platform tomorrow with Francis Bye Kabia, the NGC spokesman, I think, in Europe. But I get messages sent to me, like dismissal letters, where I not be know of. So in other words, the NGC people are sending letters to me for say, well, he's no longer the spokesperson. I didn't know that. But would I ever send them? I say thank you very much, and that will help, for form the interview. But this video, they're not verifiable. You hear me running comments in the background. Oh, they don't catch up. They catch up. They catch up pistol. Where's the pistol? Who is saying that? Do you know whether it's intentionally the person when they talk up? Because you get some very smart people and they don't say that will shape the content way then they try for show. Not only they do the video, but they know that the video is going on. So they're having a casual conversation. Intentionally, they divert people's attention and shape their opinion for say, okay, there's the pistol. Where's the pistol? Where's the police report? Famulem, until there is a police report. Do not a spreading kind of video than they. Because these videos of this kind, they only get the propensity for exacerbate an already difficult situation. I repeat, they already get the propensity for exacerbate an already difficult situation. We really need for organize ourselves and exercise restraint and understand exactly what thing they happen. And I'm serious about this, family. So going back again to President Bio, President Bio, the main man for this conversation today. It surprised a lot of people and other people, and they agree say, well, the president be right. We don't know how the president be right to. Where you don't condemn somebody, you say somebody not thief man, or they say, show me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are. Or the president, the fountain of honor. This man, a big man, a powerful man, a respectful man. Now, he actually they challenge this young man and say, welcome to a duel, Now, God help you when you're not there. This is the president saying this. And the interpretation for that, it only means one thing. And the kind of violence we don't see when they unleash on people. So if this guy was in Freetown, well, of course, it would have been a different story. Everybody knows this. And at that, the president, they say, the president used unfashioned words. And the president, they above these things. This is my point. And being critical of this now, people are going to say, oh, of course, now because you belong here, you belong there. That is not really material to me, and I'm just saying this. But for out of common sense, for goodness sake, if the president is the fountain of honor, that means he is restrained. Things the way he wants to say, or he can't, or he shouldn't, not in public, because for PR reasons, it doesn't really look good. Going back again to the protest was a success. I repeat, the protest was a success. Those of una where they pull video here now, they say, well, why they not come out? In that cheeky way they in the for be sabi and no and this and that. You are a disgrace and you distasteful because government was deprived of billions of leons. The capital was shut down. Even though, yes, people in Comodia was, traffic, but we all know, say, not to the real Salon and the real Freetown, because we capital very busy. It's so packed, it's so compact, that every square, yard is occupied by person, as person they eat in food, so other person in food they right behind them. Now we see so. And then they show the video them. And then they show soldier man them. They threaten the people, and you feel saying a fine video than they, and they beam onto the world, and the world they look at them, and potential investors are looking at this. It's like, look at these people, goodness sake, really, are you serious? Sierra Leoneans, we really need for up we game. Coming into the elections, Of course, there is a pending program where I don't promise it I go do for a long time, where I say President Bio is cheatry. And the reasons why. And these are some of the reasons. The president is now reacting. Not to other people and they react to waiting the president or the ruling party they do, when normally supposed to be the case, because if you get on message and the message they resonate with the people, then it's obvious that people will be reacting to those messages positively. But this is not the case at all. This is not the case at all, Fambulem. The president is now reacting not to impeers, P-E-E-R-S. The president is now reacting to people that were below in standard. Because why? For some reason, this guy has gotten under the skin of the administration. This guy has gotten under the skin of the president. And now the president, they react to Adebayor in game. Goodness me. What an interesting time for live now the country and the watching as this they unfold. This is a sign of desperation. If President Biosef they go on the campaign trail now and they re-echo waiting Adebayor say or they react to waiting Adebayor say, goodness me, Fambulem. I mean, this is not me making this up. This is in real time. President was on stage. This is not the first time. I remember maybe not be the first time that the way he tried for mention them. Where he get some two guys, then we get some station where of course they support the SLPP, whatever they do, they don't question that at all. And then same two guys they and then go make one comedy show now Holland. If we go back here, it's wait him up before some McDonald's. We don't come. We know say everybody walk now. This, that, and what have you? They get them. That's how they came into prominence out of that comedy day. And these now some of the platform them where they try for promote, that aspect of the SLP. I mean, good luck to them. No hard feelings. Let me be really honest about this. But this now in the fountain of honor, they deal with. So this guy's been in at the room, and I think I've been during the August 10 or after the August, something or before. I don't remember the timeline. But I remember say the president mentioned Adebayor by name. But by then, either he not be knowing name or he not remember the man name or what have you, because when you talk about the incidents where he been try for refer to, and then if you want to talk about the person will be responsible for the incident, it be get for stomach a beat, and then somebody now the audience be get for remind them the person in name will be the try for call Holland, Adebayor, and Holland. But now he clearly know in name, which means that part of the president in duty right now is he actually sits and watch this guy, and they react to the guy, and the guy don't realize say he is under the skin of the president of 8.5 million people, and are in the control the narrative. Goodness me, goodness sake. Ever believe that? This is reality. And back again, now elections they come. What this mean from a psychological point of view is his message is having an impact. And they talk about Adebayor in message, they have an impact. There is less of the mamikos inside Adebayor in message, something where I talked to him about years ago. And he can attribute to that. And those of you who want to watch that video, it's still there on YouTube. It was a massive hit. We cut him because, of course, the man get a huge fan following base. Say, fellow, you already get a base. Begin for kill this kind course and focus. Those that are managing him, honestly, they've managed him well. But Adebayor is not a candidate. Why when SLPP they try to make Adebayor like say Adebayor a candidate? Because that's what they're trying to do. Like say in now in the vice president for Samoa, they attribute circumstances. But they are not using that. They are saying outrightly that it's APC. The man say no, not APC. And even if the man says so, and be or whether it be, what he talk about is the reality on the ground. The people are suffering. The conditions on the ground is not right. That's why he's resonating. President Bio, if you solve the issue today, but of course it's late now, but if the issues were solved then, Adebayor would not have had a voice or this huge voice where he get at the gun. This is a fact. But he's having his message where they pull out, they resonate with the people. The vast majority of the people, the street is listening to him. And the street is made up of youths. And the youths man them, now them boku, then they in poverty. So the man in message, they resonate with them. So when you tell them they all own the whole transistor radio, and they listen. When you say come out, then come out. When you say una sit down, then sit down. Then they watch, they were going to come out. But because you put your soldier man out, I mean, in a different way, this also play against you. Because it's a difficult for you, it's a difficult thing for you, Mr. President. And let's be honest about it. Sometimes I feel sorry, your administration. You try, but you don't really try, sir, because there are many things then where you do. For example, you use the COI, corruption, as a weapon. You weaponize Anomi and Chernobyl, African Express. We talk about this a lot where we collaborate. You state capture the institutions. So that corruption, the way all man be almost support, say, well, this is do people get faith in you, President Bio. You can't be let down. They thought you were the disciplinary because of that 3 months where you spend on power, waiting you do then. They feel saying, now that you are a democratically elected president, wow, maybe for once we can see change. But Papa, did you know that you let the people down, President Bio? I'm sure, sir, you got a conscience that you've sat down sometimes. Where did I go wrong? Or I wish I could have done this. And probably that's why you're desperate for secure a second term. Hopefully you will have realized your errors, and you think, say, if you get a second term, then you will try for rectify those mistakes that you make, because there were too many. COI, you use them as a weapon. When we talk about Anaya, people get upset with we, like say, with the back corruption. Why would I back corruption? Corruption are the major killer in our country. Not a person will go thief na net. Single individual go thief na net. That's a bad behavior, unacceptable. But corruption, now they make that person go thief. Because if corruption not been happening, them money they flow, now ministry them, you be not organized, society where people they get work, job creation, opportunities, just like we say, 2 million jobs, and all these people were occupied, young people and active, and all get things for do. They are restless. What else do you expect them to do, sir? What else will they do, President Bio? So plenty of mistake. Now, the people that will be doing the corruption paper, the one that will play ball with you, the Alpha Khans, the Victor Foes, and many others, they are now free. Free. Because why? The fountain of honor, the be it all and end of all. President Julius Maada decides, say, since then people are they play ball with me, they will go scot-free. Many years of corruption doesn't really matter. The agenda about you fighting corruption, so you see how fake the entire idea was. Those of us that bought into it, in the end, you let we down. And when we try for critique that, and then people point to accusing finger at us. But this is the reality. You allow Alpha Khan for go free. Because why? Now it don't turn Jiliba for you. Victor Fo, look, I mean, I've never seen stupidity of this. What's the stupidity? I don't mean say Victor Fo stupid because he's a very clever man, but a man where Sabi act and is acting even at the 11th hour where say all is finished for him. Yeah, and they say we thief money. So thief na APC be NEPA. I mean, you were a part of the regime. If the government itself was serious, a man on that level who was the number 2 man in the country, they make them outright bold accusation. Francis Benkaifala, first of all, go invite him. Come on, this is interesting. Come, let's have a conversation. Because that means you get material where the anti-corruption chief need. Because independent prosecute cases of corruption. But unfortunately, this is not the case. They only they play on we. It's only a diversion, a distraction, a hoodwink we. So they pay attention there, and the one they will not want to comply. Of course, now them you hear all this fantasy about those that complied. No, they never faced the music. Some of them they dance with the president now. So how serious was the anti-corruption? Una stop them kind of joke there. And this is why Sierra Leoneans we really need for kind of wise up. We they say this. I know say we are detached from the main scene itself. The people that we actually get for vote, they know they are abroad. The vast majority of them are there. So the focus is there. It's not here. But the voice that we lend to that effort day is really, really important. And I know nobody would downplay that, because this is actually, kind of real. But decision time they come. So let's talk about this quickly before I end this program. And I want to say thank you to all them. All the people that we help for share. We get almost 1,500 people watching, 1,500 people watching. And very, very much appreciable number. And I really do appreciate this. And thank you very much. So the election will come, we don't hear issues about data, statistics, and what have you. Okay, here is the fact, and I say fact. An exercise called the midterm census was carried out. It was a botch operation, really botch. You can blame the opposition for not participating, even though now it seemed for the backfire on them. But on reflection, there was a reason why they refused to participate in the process, because they knew what the process, or suspected what the process was all about. Having said that, the people, the way they make their activity there, the process, they are credible, because it's not only done by us. Other than that, there's no credibility attached. It's really sorrowful and funny, but it's the truth. With man get for they be in the process. In other words, World Bank, Irish Aid, then people have been all they help for fund the process. But when they fund the process, then they expect you to follow the process. The process as awaiting the constitution call. So we all know this, say there were a couple of errors along the way in filing or asking for this midterm census, because the constitutional instruments then tell you when you can do that, the period where you can do that, and when the thing they kick in, and when in fact it fade out. There was a big mistake, right there, but somehow it went through. And this is who I can begin for blame. The APC parliamentarians sit down at the very parliament with a huge number, and almost all of these things then pass. And under the circumstances, then why one will not suspect, say, that you are playing games, along with the ruling party. And while then they sell to the Sierra Leonean people for, say, well, we have been muzzled, a bad name to the SLPP government, beyond the threatening way they do this, they do that. So you keep approving of all the bad things as a parliamentarian, you're way beyond the ask for, and then you say now because beyond the threatening way. I don't believe that for one bit. I know that there were threats, because first of all, from the beginning of the parliament, and this is where things started going wrong, 10 members of the opposition ruling party, the opposition party, APC, were expelled from parliament. Expelled from parliament. They say the way how they go about the election and not being right, and I mean they take your money in the consolidated fund and what have you, and 1 year before the election, again, constitutional instrument. And if that was the case, fine enough, let the constitution kick in. But then the APC equally injuncted some the SLPP parliamentarian, and as we speak today, almost 60 months. I don't even believe that case has been heard. I don't even believe that case has been heard. In other words, the SLPP go to power inside the parliament. You get people like Paran Tarawali. They call police inside parliament. And I not believe say he's supposed to do that. Now, I make first of all the whip of parliament supposed to be, you're kind of independent. It's supposed to be like a civil servant. But of course, Paran is not. He is a henchman, I call him. By in action, them, that's why I'm calling him as such for the ruling party. Call policeman, hit him up so in the chair, while policeman can at the chambers for can empty them. And we know with people them, then they keep, then they download. And eventually, if they do come to power at any given point, then go upload, then same situation, and they play out. But what did happen? We know you were too grass fed. Too elephant fed is the grass, and the grass in this case, and the people, now they continue for suffer. So for once, why we can't get a government, we could just respect all these boundaries and stop for make these unconstitutional arrangements. Look at the appointment of the Speaker of the House. Look at the game where they play. So that tell you, say, from day one, of course, when President Biobi the inaugural speech, he reflects on his second term a lot. Not only first term. President was on, on points they talk about in second term. And for achieve all of that, President Biobi begin the machination of this process a long time ago. They managed to get the Speaker of the House. So even though APC may get the majority, if you get the Speaker, whether they vote, whether he say hey, yay, or the yeas having the nays and blah blah blah, I don't care how loud it is. Now waiting Ambas Bundu and waiting in one for say, and that's exactly waiting play out na the parliament. That not mean say, in my opinion, say some people APC parliamentarian and not go to President Bio in will. Of course they did. Of course. I mean, this is clear-cut evidence. So today now they run, here for office again and what have you. But going back to the election, we take a look at the alliance with them form. Dr. Kande Koleyumkela. I've said this. Dr. Kande was finished politically, in my opinion. He was finished. The last time he garnered, a good number of votes. When you do the political construct, and this I don't want to talk about really today because it's a special program, but when you do the political construct, say na Cambia, also Dr. Kande come out, na 6 seats, 9 and I think Dr. Kande clear 4 or 5 of them seats in the. So that was heavy. This now the political party, they begin for understand the power dynamics, the power way they get. Because that mandate where them people and they give them means say, now then they run that place then they get people inside parliament. This is a very Beaucoup of us in a Creole outfit. But of course, there's a Creole element to C4C. And because of the situation where Kono been there in the sacking of the former Vice President Alhaji Samson Mana, they take that C4C day to Kono and go sell it to the people. And the Kono people embrace that and then take their son and make him the head. Who then, mostly was a like sympathy vote. So Kono get, I believe, 9 seats, constituency seats. 8 of their seats then went to C4C. Can you imagine? This is a new emerging power, a new party. 8, I think that will be the 3rd largest party in the parliament. This was a huge issue. So Kono people then begin to understand the power where they get. Imagine the Kono people had the Kono town council, the mayor for Koidu was a Kono man, was a C4C man. You don't understand. All the developmental project them, now then they fund them from funds then when they raise now the young district. This was a new power dynamics. And C4C became a very powerful political party. And Kono, as usual, maintain that the swing state status, make or break. But things are changing. In the last 2 years or so, the president focused on Kono. President spent beaucoup time na Kono. He spent beaucoup money na Kono. Because Kono is important. Eventually, waiting happen. The 8 seats where C4C will get is now split. Now be 9 seats. APC will get 1. The 8 seats, 3 of them seats then they go to the president, and 5 of the seats went to the PMDC. So Charles Magai, where they begin to look like a kingmaker, if the elections, you go according to conventional wisdom, he get 5 of them Kono people and then parliamentary seats people and That's what Charles Magai has. Charles Magai's PMDC also did in an alliance with 6 other political parties. And Fambulem, news for you if you haven't heard this before, Charles Magai is in alliance with the All People's Congress. What in this mean is like all of their seats that they will belong to the Kono people, 5 seats. Remember, President Bioga 3. So which means that the vast majority, then they not Charles Magai inside. And Charles Magai don't take these seats the way you get, this alliance where you get with these people, over to the APC. Now you do the maths. So hence you see why the president will be GT. Kono will be the depend on where he spend so much time. We build hospital for now, we do this, we make road, we make light and what have you. Here is the reality. Because the importance of them people there in a campaign trail is important. Yes, you can pull the crowd. Now that they pull the crowd, the same people them way vote for them people there. So if you go to the people them where they vote for, in other words, this official them or this MP them, now they go mobilize the people them and bring them Canada. Not to you, they do that work day. Okay, now 4 of them don't go PMDC, plus 1 where the APCB already get, and the president has 3, which tells you that Kono where they may feel say is banked. It's not. It's not. Now make us say do the maths. Because probably I might be wrong, but I make I say on the basis of conventional wisdom, orthodox, not unorthodox method. Orthodox method, it proves it, but if 5 day and a 3 day and also the majority day. So even if what in this mean is the district is split. The district is split. That's what it is. So now the elections days. So it look like it's about the data and the statistics where already midterm census, what I talk about briefly, where kind of cooked up. They use part of the 2017 census data and input them into this new voter ID card disaggregated list. In other words, if some people then look at the ID card, the picture where they not the picture where they take for this process, now picture will be not already did by the 2017 census. So that 2017 census day, now part of them now in the use to, even though they may not condemn them. So you get the process. So the entire process is flawed. That's why some school of thought, the members say, if this thing will have to be rectified, which means that the election might most likely not take place on June 24. Because with the available data and statistic, I repeat, with the available data and statistic, President Bio go into an election with Samora Kamara today. President Bio is going to defeat Dr. Samora Kamara, not on the basis of the balloting system where people can go vote, but no, because it's cooked. Mr. Kone, Charles Magai don't talk him. He was on this program, I think about a week ago. He talked him that Mr. Kone, he appear like say, by all means necessary, he try for put President Bio in power. But he say it won't be possible. I say I talk as soon as the part talk him. He repeat him twice and thinks that video they we cut him special clip. I think that just 1 minute and that's gone viral. There's over 40,000-50,000 views of that particular video day, and it's still around the line. He repeat him. It will not be possible. So having said this, Fambulem Fola a land, here with this program is Sierra Leoneans, we really need for kind of wise up. We cannot expect the same of the same as they see that the how you call them is so lively. There are something like 300 comments. I'm not going to go through all of them today, as we can usually do, but we see whether we will run through just few of them because we like to interact with people. So I will go through a few of them, and then I will come to the concluding statement from them. I want to take a short break. Let me say, dry my throat. I think I don't talk for over an hour. This is the then and now TV media empire. My name is Prince Emil Koma. And today, na the 13th of June, 2 days ago was my birthday. And like I say, I know talk about a lot, like how we can do on social media. But of course, my friend do some video then for me, and those videos went viral. And privately, I received messages them of love. And in this world, the kind of gratitude and love what I feel just 2 days ago on the 11th of June. If anything else happened in between with that kind of love day, anything else happened in between, it don't really matter. And that love day not really matter. And I felt really love. And I want to say thank you to all those who did that. This is not the TNN TV Media Empire. My name is Prince Emil Kroma. Today, not the 13th of June, 2023. Please don't touch that dial and continue for share. Okay. I go run the loop once more. They get very from the US. So let me just run this loop once more quickly. Let me just answer to this call quickly. Stay tuned. Okay, Fambulem, again, just for go back quickly to what I've been say, I thank you so very much. I mean, we hit the 1,500 mark, 1,500 people watching us live. And I want to say thank you very much. When our comments then they really matter because we can factor this into our thought process and that can help us to understand what we do fine and what we do fine. And trust me, we are listening, we are watching. Don't forget, on tomorrow, Francis Bye Kabia of the NGC will be here. Again, Boku Talk, we want for talk, and we can listen to Ram. Sekou John will be on the platform on Thursday, and then on Friday and Saturday. So we got a couple of guests there where they come, both from the SLPP, the NGC. They will all be on this platform. And just a quick reminder, the platform is open to everybody we want to participate. You don't have to be a huge stakeholder, but every Sierra Leonean matter to we. So contact the platform if you've got something to say, you want an interview, something of substance, and then we will have a conversation. So back to what we say, the comments then from via them is really important to we. So let we just go through a few quickly if we can. Just another quick announcement. You can send me stars, by the way. Stars, they help for let we bring big people in on the platform. Stars, we can convert them to money. So whether not £5, whether not £1 or $1 or 50 cents or whatever, just something, to the platform. Time is money. Thank you so much. So let me go to Marian Erhayu Amadine. This is my first time, I believe, and I'm the first time I see this name because the name's so peculiar. You're a fine name, by the way. What does she say? Does Bio realize that Adebayor is not a presidential candidate? That's a good question, my dear sister. And this is the point that I'm trying to make. Then they try to make Adebayor like say Adebayor is not a candidate for anything. So why put him at the forefront? The issue is about Sierra Leoneans, and what the guy is talking about is the situation with the Sierra Leonean people. That's what you need for address. If you address what the man they talk about, then they won't listen to him any longer, or you go get for offense something else for talk about. Solve the issue, Mr. President. Thank you for that, Marian. Who else we have there? Bobodin Josiah. Because he's inciting the gullible youth, it's high time you guys stop your misguidedness and think about this country's security. My dear brother Bobodin, the first thing we need to talk about, we no say we need to talk about, and at this platform, the country first. Not to me address Adebayor, and the president address Adebayor. And what the Adebayor they address? Now the issues that will happen in the country. There's economic mess, there's poverty, there's difficulty. That's what he's talking about. So let the president, you should be directing this to the president, say, Papa President, try to solve the issue. I don't incite. I've got no interest in that. Many thanks. Let me go to Benka Mamposh. Fine name there. Marian Erayu Amadine, I'm not sure. So Benka be the talk to Marian. Benka went on for saying, Marian, one man against a whole government. Well, this is what is really astounding. And, I mean, we will have to constitute a study going into the future on how one man, a man will go on Temple Run. What do you mean by Temple Run? Adebayor come on Salon and pass through then Tunisia, then Libya, then and find a way to Europe. This is the man that the president, the fountain of honor, is responding to. Yeah. Patricia Howard. Yes, my sister, good evening to you and good evening to everybody. Lawrence Fox, they created him to do their narrative in A Salon. So obviously, Lawrence, they take a different view to when waiting Adebayor, they say. So they created him to do their narrative. And I hope I understand this, which means that the SLPP now creates Adebayor for do them work. Anyway, I know say Lawrence not shy from that. He might respond. Let's go for that. Say Rafina, they want to torture him. Well, for arrival, that is simple. The president say, if he be there, and we know. So you're not far away from the truth. Patricia Howard once more. Adebayor did nothing but fight for his people to gain freedom from this rebel called Madabio. Well, I think that's again to the extreme. Benka Maposh is shameful. A whole government. Okay, it's the same people and really active. Benka, let's look for somebody different. Okay. Peter Cisse. Seriously, how can a sitting president is so unpopular in a capital city? That's a good reflection, Peter. You are absolutely right. The president is actually unpopular, very unpopular. And it's not me making this up. The strike action where you see where people are not they listen to the president, they listen to somebody else is the testimony. Many thanks for that. We've got Brian Makaba. Mr. Speaker, parsing Adebayor or not parsing him, I believe say they try for say pursuing him is not important to our nation. He is an idiot, and all who support his views are equally stupid and idiotic. His rubbish pronouncements only hurt his backers, but he has nothing to CHAF. I don't know exactly what you mean. The position if government. Okay. I don't want to insult you, Brima, even though you insult the audience, those who take a different view. But I mean, the man just hurt government. And by extension, it's people by shutting down the city. Government don't make no money on that day. And people are listening to him. So are you saying that the vast majority of people that will listen to him, they are stupid? Well, I will leave that to the general public for adjudicate on that. Peter Cisse, trust me, his followers then holla say, they don't whine. I want some different view. Okay, David Dowda Janusa. It is interesting how confused and inexperienced a government can be. The idea of even trying to get Adebayor deported from Holland is insane. And I think I talked about this earlier on. Completely insane. You go expect a government for being level-headed, well-informed. You get lawyers them, for example, we go advise government waiting for do. And this is also I begin for suspect say, you get people them way actually the big fool, the president, when they tell us some things the way not possible. Because me read this clearly that they mean they try for pursue. Forget about the initial pursue. When all of them they fail, Holland and Salon get treaty of that kind. Secondly, Adebayor now refugee now the people in the country. Then it is challenge you government, and you government, you human rights record is appalling, is poor. Then you try for let then deport somebody to you. I defended that over 2-3 years ago that this was impossible. It was never going to happen. And this is what we are saying here. So then also move on to Interpol. And I challenge few friends that we mentioned that. It's like, this not to Interpol in area. How Interpol go come inside Adebayo area? Do you know what Interpol is for? But such was the big fool when they try for big fool people. And I shall say them people and some of them they advise the president. Serafina, President Bio, on the other hand, can go meet Adebayo because he knows where to find him. He has spent a good part of his presidency going after this young man. Serafina, our highest seat of the land has been reduced to an obsession for Adebayo. Ibrahim Koma, of course, Ibrahim Koma is telling the platform, hello. Somebody actually named Coconut. Adebayo, thank you, and may God protect you. J. Kelly, Marabio, na the most idle president Salono ever produced. Sahid Koma, God bless you, sir, and also keep you safe. I believe say that sentiment in a media express and to Sahid. If it's me, many, many thanks. I appreciate that. Habibu Suleiman, God will bless you, sir. You are right. I believe say again, maybe Habibu, they also direct that to me. And if it's me, many thanks. Ibrahim Bikabo, that's a fact. J. Kelly, okay, this is somebody new. A whole president does respond to a social media commentator by saying, if the man get balls like I make it come. Exactly, this is my point. I mean, to me, the president went low. This not the president in domain, for goodness sake. Those that are supporting President Bio, try forget this. And I sure say, they get very sensible people when they support the president. When they say, Diabo president, but you say, if you not try. Mohammed Vanjo, what did this change? I am supposed elections are still going to take place on the 24th of this month. Okay, I shall say, Mohammed, they talk about the so-called protest. I no doubt say I get a different view as to elections taking place on the 24th. The likelihood, yes, that the elections will be held on the 24th, of course, because that's the date set. But the circumstances now prevailing and waiting the opposition they call for, if they can therefore do that, then I don't think say the 24th is enough. And one of the major players we don't join the APC, which is Charles Magai, said on this program that he not think say the elections will happen on the 24th, and he get good reasons for say so. I hope that answers the question, Mohammed. Alhaji Fula, you are just as empty-headed as your idol and other supporters, because Adebayor is only filling a vacuum created by ineptitude of this government. A lot of citizens, including the government presidents and supporters of both major parties, listen to Adebayor. So think hard about the core. The cause is not just the effect. Not just the effect. If this country should move positively forward, I agree with you. But again, the leadership, then the need for up the game, the need for do the people and bidding, feed the people, look after the people and welfare, and we will not experience any of this. Many thanks for that comment. Karifala Ture, if you don't have a better idea or anything else positive to say to our youth who are going to be our future leaders tomorrow, keep your big mouth shut. Okay, I shall say, I think Sinami Karifala, they talk or Adebayo. But again, the issue when the man they talk about resonate with the youth man them. And the youth man them, they are being affected by the policies of government, which is not working in their favor. That is the truth. Thank you for your comments anyway. Miriam John, true, my brother, God bless you. And Sumana Kwesi, he used it as a camouflage to win the election. Aaron Rashid, thanks, Mr. Prince. Thank you, Mr. Rashid Samura. Princess Musa. I wonder what the princess they try for city. Don't know exactly. Patricia Howard, instead of him focusing in developing Sierra Leone, he has spent 5 years following Adebayo. What a shame and disgrace for the president of Sierra Leone, and people are supporting him. This is a scandal. J. Kelly, Kaifala Tui, another party picking is here. Have you eaten? You don't eat? Sometimes I enjoy this comment. Massa Soiree, APC people need God. Okay. Agibi, very irresponsible president. Princess Musa, one people, one country. Of course, but this is not the case. That's just a pronouncement. It's not one people, one country. And that's exactly what we see they play out of the country. The country is divided with their sister, Princess Musa. Come on. Patricia Howard, Sierra Leone is sorry. People are not smart enough to think for themselves, to know what is good or bad for them. And sister, I don't they come to that point the way I think say, I mean, we the people, we are traumatized. Remember, in the part of the world who offend we say, we know if people are traumatized, they have to be traumatized. Other than that, mental problem begin for sink in. So a lot of the people and they go through mental problem, especially with the difficulties back home. Imagine you get for the calculate now you need how to go spend money for can feed your family or go to the next point or get water for drink, all them basic amenities. Then the president in office, they get light 24 hours. 20 and another they say the president in office or in host not forget light 24 hours. The question here is if the president in host can get light 24 hours or in office get 24 hours, why government hospital or hospital generally where now the bulk of the people them now did and they look forward for help. Now they get lights 24 hours. Every government we can just they can play on we. Where this one add how you call them 50 megawatt of electricity. The other one come in, can add 100, they make noise, and the lights are not even sustainable. Come on, man. We should be gone beyond this. We don't even get consistent water for drink. The country full of so river them all over the place. Fresh water them, spring water them. But yet, in the midst of plenty, we are thirsty. Why not ask yourself? Why don't the holding government they are responsible? Sorry, I'm getting worked up. Anyway, Asumana Kwesi, there is nothing good about this current SLPP government. J. Kelly, Massa Sware, who? Kerry Fala Ture, J. Kelly, yes, I am okay because I work for it and I give respect to leaders and elderly people. Adamasi say, Patricia, what is happening with our people? Okay, somebody new. Diamond Dash the King. Not a one man come with one salon. We na for this anchor. Why una not open una? Okay, this is really rude. We not tolerate this now. Okay, and I'm Diamond. If not so you want converse now, we go delete you. Please respect the platform, respect the viewers them. And we don't tolerate vulgarity now. Yes, on a sense now when they talk. Now another So we wind the program down now. They experience some serious internet, breakage. And I apologize. I'm not able to show all the comments. The comments are over 300 comments. I'm not able to show them. And I apologize if I not show you comments. Let's just look for a few, show them quickly, and then let we move on. He's the lowest of the lower president that forges hotel bills. Okay, that's the meaning of the president. Let me just leave that. Peter Sisi. This SLPP is a collection of criminals again low. Aisata Koroma, King Adebayor is fighting for us, and God will continue protecting him in Jesus' name. Very interesting. Silvanos Banabum. Thank you for watching. Aisata Koroma, good evening, sir. May God bless you for all your work. Marco Matarazzi. I like this name. It sounds more Italian. Let's see what in Italian say. With that being said, many Paupa might think today was a failed protest, just like the same way Sylvia Blinden claimed earlier through her comments. But it shows clearly today that Adebayor was right again. There's no free space for the people to exercise their right. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'll take the same view as well. Protest not necessarily means that people in for common and do. People that sit on a host and lock down the country, business not go as usual. That in itself is a protest. Good things don't come easily. I still believe there is some good things that will be gained from the regime. One will only know after his term expedite. Yeah, John Commander. You see, now that kind of reflection there we expect. This is mature reflection. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Yeah. Rugia to Conte. Madabio is not good leader because if the people of your country want to demonstrate, you should try to listen to them and correct your mistakes. Instead, sending your force to kill them. Usman TCC, ECSL is the problematic right now in our country. Shame on them all. Hawa, FJ Kamara, Minira Liwali Taylor, a foolish woman knows a foolish man. I don't understand what's that about. Hawa. Zainab Kanu, one people, one country, but Bio don't divide the country for we. Very irresponsible president. Maybe two Laga. These guys should be ashamed as they give Adebayor a place in history. He has fought for the marginalized young generation and now has a voice that resonates with majority. And I'll just speak to that quickly. You don't establish, these things cannot be taken away from you. And this is one thing. This guy don't make his name done. This is not going to be taken from him. It's already done. His legacy is sealed. So I go only ask for common sense for approach these issues because whichever way you curse him and challenge him and what have you, Father forbid if he was to pass away today, in legacy they live. He's done it. It will live after him. Get that? It is Ivan Rogers. Stop wasting your time. This year will not be postponed for even 1 minute. On the 24th, we are going to vote President. Of course, it is your sentiment. That's quite welcome. Thank you very much. Adama Ture. Adebayor is protecting our democracy and our people in this time. Blah blah blah. Golden Noah. When you have incompetent leader, what good people do you expect? Joe Cabs Jr. It is not one people, one country, but one people, two currencies. I know if you talk about the two currencies, this is hilarious. Thank you for that, Joe Cabs. I think after election, it will be one part system in this country. Charles Bondo. June or June? June or June? Please check. Okay, I don't know what Charles mean by that. Meg Rogers, right? She's a regular contributor. I will recall the name. It will be a continuous loss for the country if the situation is not put under control with wisdom from the government. And you are absolutely right. And this is not the point where they try for make. It not necessarily make people for come out. The idea that fear permeates the atmosphere, that people cannot open their businesses for fear of looting, that government forces has to come on the street. It shows that it's an unusual atmosphere. These skills of businesses, direct and indirect investment, the skills of revenue generation for government, where government needs so badly, is not a win situation for government at all. Thank you, Megan. Abubakar Kamara, you are right. God bless you, sir. Binesuma was president, and we are going to kick you. Binesuma Gemaraki is selling country because he has no idea or iota of love for Sierra Leone. Jalo Mahmoud, keep up the good work. Many thanks, Jalo. Binesuma, instead of Maada sending his troops to recapture Yenge and parts of Ghana from him, he pointed gun at weapon at his own people. And I agree with that. You see, now they say the president in a difficult situation. Damn if he does, damn if he doesn't. But again, for put out people on the street, the security people for prevent the riots. I mean the protests. I call it riot. I'm sorry. But again, another thing they can do now for allow this protest for place. I know it's difficult because you don't know what maybe come out of it. But for give yourself good name, if I was advising the president, I will say all the people that we want for protest, una we assemble in a stadium. But una need the protest inside Freetown because Freetown are the business capital. But for exercise una right, we okay, una go na Masheka or somewhere, and we go transport una by buses under security, escort, protection. But they are not doing inside Freetown too tight. Instead of police soldier man, and you get them lie on them. Yeah, I mean, you get all that dressing, all the dark glasses, all the gun, machine gun, and it's getting people that we don't even get there. This is interesting. Kaifala Ture, exactly, just like you also who do not want to hear the bitter truth. Okay, this night somebody having beef. Salema to former Bio is a blessing to this nation. Thank you for your comments, Salema to. At least somebody resonates with the president. Victoria Cabo, thank you very much. Momo Vandi, okay, this is new. Why are some of our people so gullible and myopic in their mindset? Yes, Adebayor is not a presidential candidate, but he has full control over the APC, which is so sad and a shame to the entire echelons of the APC. APC EBK gave him the platform to go after all those that were against him. He used vulgarity and mamikos as his weapon of warfare. So, Mr. Presenter, don't be so narrow-minded and begin to say nonsense. I don't think what they say, Mr. Vandi is nonsense. No. And I will try not for use the opposite on you, but I just break down what you say. You first of all not get any proofs in a EBK na Isenam or if they do EBK bidding. So that's completely, I mean, it makes no sense at all. Secondly, EBK gave him the platform to go after. He used vulgarity and mamikos. Of course, he uses that, and I don't tolerate that at all. I've said that he's been on my platform, and I chided him for that. He's like left this mamikos, yeah, and I still say it here. So no, I don't tolerate that. He's not in full control of the All People's Congress. Are you out of your mind? No, he's not. The leader of the All People's Congress is Samura Kamara. He's the leader of the. Also, you will have all them people, and Soboku, Samura Kamara, Cherry Koku, Dr. Richard Conte, Dr. Kaifala Mara, Kemo Sise, and the list goes on. Come on, man. Talk. You try to talk some sense, but you blow out. Well done, guys. God bless you. APC back to power if you don't do A to Z, blah blah blah. Okay, so I need for end the program. You see the number they increase again. There's over 900 people, almost 1,000 people back. It don't go up. We had about 1,500 people watching. Now it don't go back, to almost 1,000 people. But I need for end the program. So please, I ask you now, begin for wind down. And not just want kill the program at 900 people. So like I said, the last thing I've been talk about election before I lost power. So this is the situation, here with Connor. Okay, this is not the situation with Connor. Connor now is divided. And it sounds like, say, if we go by the numbers, the other side, the opposition side, get even more of the people because they get 5 of the representatives then from Connor as opposed to government 3. So you don't see? Not be 3 and they're not going to get a huge number. But the point here is no single person is going to take Connor. That's the point. Okay? So the president therefore do in calculation very well. Dr. Richard Conte will be on the program very shortly. Hassan Nasrallah, the monk, Hassan Nasrallah, the chief of all the media people that the countries alone, will be on the program, I believe, on Saturday. This Saturday, Professor Njai will be on the program on Thursday, I believe. But when I go see the flyers, then they come out soon. Famulem, I really want to say thank you to Una. And like I say again, the numbers keep increasing instead of decreasing. Adenua is a blessing. Adenua, this is not Adebayor name, you don't change. So to the people of Sierra Leone, and Madabio is a curse. Famulem, the truth here is the president, they troll Adebayor. The fountain of honor. The few SLPP people they want things they talk. they sound upset. And the reason why they sound upset, now because in reality, they don't let waiting happen or waiting happen. That the president, yeah, they go after Adebayor as such. That's why it is. But they're not going to come out and criticize them. But that's what it is. They're vexed that the President Bio is now trolling Adebayor, waiting Adebayor say, the president, they react. The president go on stage, a day on in platform. The president of the nation, all the cameras are trained on him. And then he say, if that man get balls like a bee, like he can this country. For the, you mean like LJ? You mean like Kamarimba? What else? Will you afford him due process? No. The intention with which you say him, because you don't become so obsessed with him, in fact, infatuated, in fact. It's like a man, you don't chase over a woman. This is not the thing. The president, they told the young man, and they make him so public. This is unacceptable. Those of you who are close to President Bio and then advise her, then we advise and say, he should do this because election they come, you need for it has not been helpful at all. All you help for do now for raise the man his status more and gain even more followers. The solution, President Bio, is simple. I said earlier, but I mean, feel say time not enough, which is solve the economic problems of the country. The reason why this man, a message they resonate with the vast majority of young people the way they listen to him, he's got the streets. You haven't, Mr. President. You have not. He's got it. Now, because there is poverty in the country. To be honest, it is difficult, but you can do far better. Corruption, they're on the up. You get problem, you for declare austerity because you make austerity language so bad about the last government, whereas austerity simply mean cutting down on your expenses. Stop spending money that you don't have, or what you get, take to manage them. Prioritize, even at your home. You're waiting for buy, enough for buy, waiting for buy. That's what it is. It's that simple. But you can't declare austerity because you made so much hoo-ha about austerity. On this basis, Fambule, like I say, I mean, feel say the numbers go down, but the number not still not seem for the go down, and we therefore need for end the program. And on this basis, Fambule, and they wanna forgive me, but we should end the program. So thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a Then and Now TNN TV Media Empire Platform broadcast. My name once more, na Prince Emil Chroma. I thank you all for tuning in. Until we come to una again very soon as tomorrow, with Francis Bye-Bye Kabiagode on the program from the NGC, for can talk about waiting the ongoing inside the NGC or anything else. Please stay safe. Sierra Leoneans, use your head. Vote wisely. Look for the truth. It is there. This has been a TNN production. My name is Prince Emil Chroma. Goodbye. Good night.